Butterfly sewing machine history is the story of a machine that converted a moving foot into a locked line of thread. Press the treadle, spin the hand wheel, drive the needle down through cloth, catch the lower thread, and let feed dogs advance the fabric. In a household, that mechanism could repair clothes, make bedding, alter uniforms, and turn durable equipment into a valued wedding good. China's Ministry of Commerce traces the company's story to the Zichang Iron Shop established in Shanghai in 1919. The business began by selling, repairing, and refurbishing imported sewing machines. That repair knowledge created a base from which local parts and complete machines could gradually be produced. That origin matters because the butterfly sewing machine was not merely a smaller version of an older appliance. It reorganized a familiar task around a new constraint. Families needed a durable way to make, repair, and alter cloth at home. The design therefore has to be judged by the routine it changed, the resources it required, and the kind of control it transferred to an ordinary user. A treadle machine coordinates human power and precise timing. The pedal rocks a flywheel. A belt rotates the upper shaft. The needle carries top thread through cloth, and a hook catches a loop around the bobbin thread. Feed dogs rise, move, and fall so each stitch begins at a controlled distance. Mechanically, the important point is the sequence rather than any single part. The user performs a simple action, hidden components translate it, and the product produces a repeatable result. Showing that chain makes the butterfly sewing machine understandable as a working system instead of a nostalgic silhouette, and it fulfills the documentary promise with evidence rather than atmosphere. The official history records a domestically produced household model under the Golden Lion name in 1940. The brand later became Invincible, and in 1966 the Chinese and English identity was unified as Butterfly. Separating those dates prevents the 1919 company origin from being confused with the later household trademark. Manufacturing turned the idea into infrastructure. Materials, dimensions, seals, switches, motors, hinges, or containers had to agree every time. A product becomes ordinary only when factories can repeat it, repair networks can support it, and households can trust that the next use will resemble the last. Reliability is therefore part of the historical story, not a footnote. For a family, the machine provided more than occasional craft. Clothes wore at knees, elbows, hems, and seams. Children changed size. Fabric could become covers, curtains, bags, and bedding. A repairable mechanical machine extended the useful life of textiles when replacement garments demanded scarce cash, coupons, or travel. Inside the home, value accumulated through repetition. One use might seem modest, but the same saved walk, protected food, repaired garment, private song, washed face, shared program, or prepared drink happened again and again. Butterfly sewing machine mattered because it attached industrial design to the small schedule of a day and made that schedule easier to plan. Government and local histories place sewing machines among the era's coveted household goods, often summarized with bicycles, watches, and radios as 3 turns and 1 sound. A machine presented around marriage signaled that the new household possessed productive equipment, not just decoration. The cultural meaning followed the practical value. Scarcity, price, novelty, and visibility could turn a tool into a signal of readiness or modernity. That does not mean every family owned the same model or used it in the same way. It means the object became legible to other people as evidence that a household had gained a new capability. The cabinet and cast iron stand also mattered. They made a stable work surface, stored tools, protected the head when folded away, and placed the treadle at the user's feet. Oil points, belts, needles, bobbins, and tension adjustments formed a repair culture around a machine expected to serve for years. Scale also changes interpretation. A single surviving object can look quaint, while thousands or millions of similar routines can reshape shops, streets, factories, bedrooms, and expectations. The safest claim is not that the butterfly sewing machine transformed every life identically, but that it helped normalize a new relationship between people, time, space, and a repeatable service. Ready-made clothing, lower garment prices, compact electric machines, and changing domestic labor reduced the treadle machine's daily necessity. The older model could still stitch, but fewer households needed to transform bulk cloth into routine clothing or dedicate a large cabinet to that work. Its decline was rarely a sudden mechanical failure. Competing products changed the comparison by offering another balance of cost, speed, space, labor, portability, or status. The older object could keep working while its social role narrowed. That distinction prevents a simple progress story and explains why useful designs often survive after losing their former central place. Butterfly survives as a brand and as a common memory because the product's contribution was legible. It placed a controlled line of industrially precise stitches inside the home. Even when unused, the black machine and wooden table remain evidence that a household once owned the ability to manufacture and repair cloth. What survives is a design lesson. It made garment production a household capability and a visible family asset. The casing and styling may date, but the underlying promise remains recognizable. When a newer product repeats that promise with different materials or electronics, it carries forward part of the older object's logic even if the original machine has moved to a cupboard, collection, or memory. Return to the object itself. Butterfly sewing machine joined a physical mechanism to an ordinary promise, then accumulated meaning through repeated use. Its history is strongest where evidence separates invention, manufacture, ownership, and later memory instead of blending them into one legend. The surviving lesson is concrete. It made garment production a household capability and a visible family asset. New products may change the materials, power source, scale, or interface, but they still have to solve the same human problem clearly enough to earn a place in daily life. To see the change at human scale, reconstruct the routine before and after. Before the butterfly sewing machine, the user had to coordinate more separate tools, trips, waiting, attention, or shared resources. Afterward, part of that coordination moved into the object. The machine did not abolish work. It packaged several decisions into a stable sequence. That is why a modest household product can matter historically even when its individual action looks small. There is also an infrastructure test behind the familiar casing. Butterfly sewing machine depended on materials, energy, distribution, maintenance, and knowledge that extended far beyond one home. When those supports were scarce, ownership remained exceptional or the product served a group. When they became dependable, the same object could fade into the background. Ordinary use is therefore evidence that an entire supporting system has become reliable enough to stop demanding attention. The design can be read as a set of trade-offs rather than a perfect solution. It gained control over families needed a durable way to make, repair, and alter cloth at home. In exchange, users accepted cost, space, upkeep, preparation, or a new dependency. Later products won when they offered a more attractive balance, not necessarily because the earlier mechanism stopped working. This is how a durable invention can remain useful and still lose the central role it once held. A final comparison keeps the claim precise. Butterfly sewing machine did not reach every household at once, did not remove every burden, and did not become obsolete on a single date. Adoption varied with price, supply, infrastructure, repair, space, and habit. Its importance comes from the capability it made visible and repeatable. It made garment production a household capability and a visible family asset. Remembering that capability explains both the enthusiasm around the original product and the quieter ways its logic survives in newer designs.